Hello, friends. Welcome to your reading. My name is Paul. I'm so glad you could make it. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoy these videos. It really does help out the channel. Now, this is a general reading for Libra. Try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Here is a Seven of Swords as your first card. You're somebody who you're capable of resisting the distractions of life, you know. I think that you're confident. You haven't always been confident, right? But right now, you're able to ignore the naysayers. You're able to completely tune out the bad vibrations, okay? You're on this central sword, this Ace of Swords. There's something you're doing in your life that means a lot to you. There are a lot of other forces that are trying to knock you off balance, okay? You're not going to let them. Now, we got to put this card into a little bit of context, all right? We got to see what these forces are and, well, what you're going to do about it. Well, look at that. You are headed for a doorway to the future, okay? Big time change. This is the Eon card, rebirth, reawakening. This is you're creating a new world. This is you're leaving the past behind you and you're creating a new universe. You got the Hermit underneath you, yeah, makes sense. You got the bad vibes behind you, right? Five of Swords. You also have a Tower moment, yep. And your star. You're following your destiny. You're following your star. You're leaving the bad vibes where they belong, right? In yesterday's trash bin. It's old news, right? It's the rear view mirror, not even really needing to look back. Here we have the Death card. We have a Five of Wands, Four of Pentacles, and your Libra power card at the end. Yes, this is the reading for you. You know you're in the right place when your Justice card pops up, especially as the final outcome here. Final outcome is you uniting with your true self. You uniting with what is meant for you because you're leaving the BS behind, okay? There are people in your life that don't want to see you succeed, that don't want to see you prosper. Yeah. By the way, if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Alien, Simon, Mork, Ripley. We're going old school today with our little alien friend, which I think the alien was like our first guardian of the mystery card, wasn't it? For all you people that have been here for a long time, I think you might remember Alien was like the first one that we used. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we're not going to look at that card until the end. Hopefully it will tie everything up and give us the confirmation at the end. If you have a prediction for that card, put it in the comments down below at any time during the reading. Okay. Now let's look around the room. Lots of major arcana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcana energies. This may shock you. This is really intense. This is a lot of spiritual energy for one person. Okay. I think it is it's an awakening. It is a sudden realization of a lot of facts, a lot of energy. I think you're getting a sudden revelation of clarity about the past and about the future. I think that you're really experiencing an eye-opening kind of event. Okay, and it's an exclamation point. I think it's going to give you clarity about some entanglements, some relationships that are not meant for you anymore. You're going to have a deeper understanding about people, about yourself. Okay, a lot of major arcana energies. And the Hermit, going through this doorway to the revelation, this is someone who is becoming a master. This is someone who is kind of receiving this or experiencing this full chakra, kundalini, awakening spiritual activation. Okay? This is extraordinary. You're following your destiny. You're becoming your very best self. You have a lot of cards of change. You have the hermit that's working on change. You have a doorway of change. You have sudden change, and you have long-term change. Long-term growth and development and evolution. The short-term change and disruptions. All working together to create a new universe for yourself. The Eon card is saying that you are leaving the past behind you. You're walking through the doorway, and you're not looking back. This is awesome. And beyond that, well, we've got fire and earth, and we got some air. We don't have any water energy, but we do have the swords, and the swords are what that's kind of the intellectual or mental perception and understanding. I think really you're leaving the naysayers behind. You're leaving all those bad, lower vibration. I don't want to say bad. I'm going to say lower vibration. People that aren't on your frequency. Okay, you're taking a step in the direction of your soul, your spiritual development, your destiny. You're taking a step toward your star, which means you got to leave the past behind you. You got to leave the Five of Swords where it belongs. Okay, now this is the card of change. This is a doorway through which you're walking. You're making a big decision in your life. You're choosing to maybe take a spiritual path. You're choosing, the sudden revelation, I think, is leading you toward different choices, new choices. Does that make sense? It's not confusing you. I think you're putting any kind of confusion behind you. You're not asking questions anymore. Back here, we are asking questions. Okay? Back here, this is confusion. There's chaos, and I'm trying to make sense of it. This could be the feeling of, I don't know which way I'm headed. I don't know what to do with life. I don't know what is real and what's not. I don't know what this relationship is. I don't know why there's conflict. Okay? This is a little tornado in our mind. It's a 5. So it's kind of like it's our thoughts changing. Going from, the direction of the wind, it keeps changing around, And it's Spirit's way of saying, you got to look at this. This is something to pay attention to. Why have we been confused? What have we been confused about? What are the questions that we're asking? Yeah, maybe we need to ask different questions. I think there's a connection, obviously, with the Five of Wands here, right? And so there's conflict. There's arguments, there's friction, there's tension. We're not getting along with something or someone. Okay? And I think the revelation of our path, the revelation about certain choices that we've made, certain people, certain entanglements, right? Five of Swords is sort of like we're getting wrapped up in drama here, But now, with the Seven of Swords, feels like we're striving to maintain clarity. You're having an awakening, even though there are a lot of other forces, a lot of outside entities, right? These smaller swords that are trying to put you back to sleep again. They're trying to throw you back into confusion. And you're resisting that. Okay? I think that you're making decisions, you're making choices, you're making changes in your life. And there are opposing forces. There are things that are going to try to block your path. As we see here, you're on that central sword. There are other things that are trying to block your path, but you're not going to let them. You're making the appropriate decisions anyway, despite the opposition, despite the naysayers, despite the haters, despite the criticism, and the people that are kind of, what they say about opinions, right? Everybody's got one. The only opinion that matters is your true self, right? The opinion of your own soul and spirit. So we're resisting those forces, those negative vibration, those lower vibration energies that are trying to push you back into chaos. Okay, you're leaving them behind and you're going in a direction that is irreversible. You're achieving something that cannot be taken away from you. It's an enlightenment. In a very simple way, this is you about realizing the truth of something, and then you can't unlearn it. You know, maybe you're seeing somebody for who they really are, and you can't unsee it. You can't go back to the ignorance of the previous energy. No matter how much someone may be saying, no, that's not what happened, you don't understand. You're saying, no, I saw the truth. I saw the truth, and there's nothing you can say that's gonna make me change my mind again. That's gonna make me believe something different, right? And so you're making a decision based on your own truth, your own clarity, despite somebody that may be pleading with you to change your mind. Trying to send you back into chaos. Trying to send you back into confusion. It feels like it's a mental manipulation. It almost feels like gaslighting a little bit. Okay, but you're staying firm. You're staying solid. The hermit down beneath the surface here is like, again, it's kind of trying to protect ourselves from outside vibrations, trying to find the light within. I want to find my own way, my own truth. What do I believe? What do I feel? What do I want? What's my journey? Not what somebody else is trying to tell me to do, not what other people want me to do. What is my soul telling me? Right? So we're sort of like, we're shielding ourselves from anything else. Like we put the blankets over our heads. That we've kind of gone under the covers in the bed to just figure out like, okay, like what am I? You ever do that when you were a kid? You pull the blankets over your head and you kind of talk to yourself? Maybe it's just me. I'm kind of a weirdo. But to sort of figure out like, okay, now what do I really want? What do I want to do? Because when we feel like we're safe from the outside, and kids do that, right? Kids will they'll pull their hat down over their eyes and they'll think that the world disappears. And in a way it does. And in a way we do that as adults even. We feel like if we sort of turn off the phone, we close the blinds, and we kind of we protect ourselves, or we shield ourselves, we blanket ourselves from all of the outside forces, it allows us to have that internal honesty. That I can talk to myself now with pure truth and honesty and clarity. I can say what I mean. I can look at things the way I look at them. I don't have to censor myself. I don't have to justify it to anybody else. I don't have anybody else talking in my ear. It's just me and me. It's little self and big self, right? Capital S, self. And we're having a conversation. It's a Gnostic dialogue. So we can find our truth. We can find our way forward. Because we're cut out, we're protected. No one else exists right now except for me and me. Little me and big me, you know. And this, I think, is where we really, this is meditation. It's spiritual contemplation. It's prayer. It's worship. Okay. We need to take this time. And I think you're somebody that does. I think you are doing that. And that's how you're able to find your path, make your decision, and you're going to do that decision. You're gonna take that step through that doorway toward your destiny, your fate, toward your star. Okay? Regardless of what other excuses or reasons or opinions other people are throwing your way. No distractions. Right? We're not going back to confusion. We're going forward with clarity. A lot of cards of change. Abrupt change, the slow, gradual change, and this is the choice of change, right? That we're invoking change. We're saying, okay, I'm changing my life. I'm done with the old way. I'm ready for the new way. I'm done with the old life of confusion and manipulation or doubt or asking the wrong questions. Now I've asked myself the question and I know the answer. I don't need any input from anywhere else. I know what I must do, where I must go. I know who I am. This is a process of self-discovery and spiritual awakening. Okay? And it's leading you, I think, to a lot of decisions and choices and changes in your physical world. In your choice of lifestyle, your choice of behaviors, the people you surround yourself with, the things that you believe, the things that you care about are now centered on truth, your personal inner truth, big self, little self, Gnostic dialogue. Okay. So the Hermit is a really important card here for you. Very important card. And the Tower seems to be an exclamation point. And I don't know if this is something that is, it feels like a sudden revelation. It almost feels like one day we just like, the scales fell from our eyes. Suddenly I see things for the way they are. There's a sudden, like almost just a sudden flash, a bolt of lightning that enlightens us, right? It's an enlightening moment. Suddenly we're enlightened. And we say, I'm making choices. I'm changing my life. I'm going to go through this doorway and nobody can tell me any differently. You know? And I think that this is us stepping into kind of the unknown. We're stepping into this universe that we now have to build. We're stepping into our responsibility. We're making a definite decision in regards to the past. We're going through a doorway that we cannot go back through the other way. But I don't know if this is, like something like you're talking to somebody and suddenly you just have like this flash of insight, this flash of awakening that says, wait a minute, you've been manipulating me. I know the truth. Suddenly, it feels like a sudden revelation. It feels like suddenly like the prophecy is clear to you. Okay? Suddenly your third eye is wide open. Yeah. And I think that this is ushering in rapid changes in your life. It's very intense, this energy. I kind of don't even want to post the reading, because there's so much of this, so much major arcana that it's almost feels like something is happening to you. It feels with the major arcana that something's sort of out of your control. That it's like this was not something necessarily that you said, okay, today I'm going to sit down, I'm going to have this sudden revelation of all the truth of my life. Suddenly, I'm going to sit down, today's the day, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to activate this revelation of the past and the future. In one moment, might as well. It's a Wednesday, let's just do it, right? I think that this is something that sort of happens, we're not expecting it. The tower moment is always an exclamation point. It's always like, okay, we're just going along, doing our thing, then suddenly, bang, tower moment. And we're going along, bang, tower moment. We don't really choose those moments, but I think that in a way, we did bring it about consciously because of that Gnostic dialogue, because you've been a spiritual seeker for a long time. You've been on the path, and you've been always searching for your own way. Okay, even when you were a kid, I imagine you were doing things differently when you were a kid. You didn't do the same things all the other kids were doing. Your parents probably said, gosh, Libra, why are you doing those things? Why can't you just be like other kids? I think that you had a lot of different kind of interests, hobbies, talents, right? Curiosities. Yeah. And so the tower, anyway, I think it's the revelation of your lifetime. It's you're receiving the prophecy of your life and what you're meant to do, because going through the doorway leads to your star card. It leads to the light is coming in, and we're fully like the tower is kind of like all the things have broken down. Everything that's been preventing the light from getting in is crumbling down. Everything that's been preventing your light from getting out is crumbling down. See? So what's left is a pure spiritual light that we're receiving and that we are distributing, right? The star card, the light comes in and it goes out from us. We can't help but radiate our light. So I think you're getting this revelation about what your path is supposed to be, what you're meant to do in life. Okay? And this is a card also of sort of becoming the magician. When we let the light in, when those walls kind of come down, when we crack ourselves open and we let the light come in, that spiritual light starts to show us where our knots of karma are, shows us where our buttons are, that people are always pushing, or the controls where people realize they can manipulate us by those buttons and those controls and the joystick and stuff. We start to see where our blockages are. And once we start working on that, we recognize that, then our path starts to be revealed to us. It's like the sidewalk starts lighting up for us, and we know where we're supposed to walk. Okay? And I think once that process begins, there's no turning it off again. There's no going back. Okay? So this is really I think a leveling up on the spiritual path. And it's an ongoing process. And what it's doing, it's allowing us to be a pure, clear channel of that spiritual light. And that is the essence of the magician. This is the process of becoming the magician. Okay? This is how we crack ourselves open. We let the light in. That light helps us clear out our blockages, and that's the magician. Okay? The magician is the clear channel, the conductor of that electricity, the conductor of the orchestra. The magician is the messenger of the gods. It is the hollow tube through which the spiritual light can flow. And that's our job in life, is to become the very best magician that we can be. But your spiritual light, that frequency, is going to be different than mine and somebody else's. So you're having this revelation about what it is for you. Yeah. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. These readings are totally free. Your general energy is, of course, the death card. Realizing that change is a forward-moving thing. We cannot change the past. We cannot alter the past. We can revisit the past as a viewer, but we cannot interact with the past in order to change the future. I believe that, and I think the death card is sort of referencing that idea. Whether it's true or not, whether you believe it or not, I don't know. We can view the past, but we cannot interact with the past. And I think that this card is really about leaving the past behind us and understanding if we have to look back at the past, we distill that past into little kernels of wisdom, right? And we take that wisdom with us into the future. And that's the process of change. This is the card of change. It's the fundamental force of the universe. It's the nature of nature, is to always be going forward. The death card is slow and steady change over the course of time, punctuated by the tower moments. Okay, but life is always moving forward, and I think that you're realizing that everything in your life has been leading up to this moment of this intense spiritual awakening. Everything, even the most meaningless event of your life, right? Everything that you can possibly remember. I think you've been getting a lot more memories lately, right? For some reason, you've been remembering a lot of things from the past. I think you've been having more deja vu moments. I was going to say deja vu. But that's really what it is. I think deja vu is when we are viewing a future memory. When we are viewing maybe the past or the future and feeling as if it's occurring in the present, but it's a memory. So it's kind of it's a weird overlap, a layering of time, yeah. But it's a viewing. Deja vu, I've seen it before, kind of, right? So I think you've been getting more memories lately. I think they've been coming up maybe in your meditations, maybe as you've been falling asleep at night, or maybe randomly throughout the day. You remember something from when you were like 6 years old. Yeah. And I think the future memories as well. So the death card is your general energy, and it is embracing that process of change and realizing that we have to be, if we're in the boat on the river of change, who's driving the boat? Nobody, just the river, right? Gonna smash into some rocks, gonna capsize, gonna flip over, and are we letting somebody else drive the boat? Okay, maybe this person who has maybe been gaslighting you or trying to manipulate you, or anybody in your life who ever has, right, tried to steer the boat. We're realizing that we have to steer the boat. We're on the river, can't get off the river, but I don't want my boat to capsize. I got to start steering the boat. I got to use my willpower to start driving the boat. Okay? And yeah, it's scary. And yeah, I can't do anything about the river. I don't know if it's going to be a nice, pleasant trip down the Nile, when we're going to get to the cataracts. If there's going to be a waterfall here and there, I don't know. I've got to at least be here, present, conscious, awake, aware, right? And I got to have that as much control over my boat as I can. In a way, with this card, I kind of say like we end up able to like nudge the river a little bit. We realize that our choices, the choices here, they may be causing change in the short term. Disruptive change feels, unwanted and very kind of chaotic. Our changes are creating the more long-term future as well. Our choices are creating not only our personal reality, but they're shaping who we are becoming. You're making choices now that are shaping and molding your personality and your personal reality. Yeah. And that's the Death card. Now, the Five of Wands in your environment, this is the force of your will. This is Saturn in Leo, right? It's Five of Wands. It's having the discipline and the focus and taking it seriously. All of your thoughts, words, and deeds, all of your intentions are shaping you and shaping the world in which you live. This is you taking a stand in your relationships. This is you saying, this is what I'm doing, and, nobody is going to drive my boat but me. You have to be aware that there are other boats on the river, of course, right? We don't want to be so wild in our driving that we cause problems, right? There's no wake zones. You don't want to go speeding through where people are fishing or swimming and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we want to be mindful of our environment, but we have to also take responsibility and take charge and be in control of our boat. And that's what the Five is all about. You're holding the wheel. Spirit's holding you, but you're holding the wheel. Okay. So this becomes, we're not taking any stuff from anybody, putting up with no bovine excrement. We're being mindful about the entanglements we get into. We are bringing the fight when we have to, and we're learning also when it's not worth it to fight. I don't have to get involved in every argument. Everybody that says something contrary to you or criticizes you or throws some shade your way or some negative vibes your way or some lower vibrational energy your way, you don't have to respond. That's what this card's about. We get the choice of how to respond. I'm just going to keep plugging down the river. I don't have to stop what I'm doing and deal with all this nonsense over here. I'm just going to keep going down the river. Sometimes this is like picking your battles. Knowing when it's not worth it to fight or argue or get involved. Knowing that some things are out of our control. I can't control what other people do. People want to criticize me. Go ahead, criticize me all day long. I can't change that. I can't change your opinion. I can't change your behavior. I can only affect mine. And my behavior is the only behavior I'm responsible for. And if I'm letting somebody else drive my boat, that's my behavior. That was my choice to let somebody do that. Not anymore. We're taking charge here, taking command, right? And the Four of Pentacles becomes the boat itself. The Four of Pentacles is the physical world, the physical environment, the structure and stability of the world. Well, you're sort of disrupting that, right? The Fives, the Tower, the choice here. It's sort of like we're causing a little bit. We're rocking the boat right now. Like, don't rock the boat. It's dangerous, right? Sometimes you gotta break a couple eggs if you're gonna make an omelet, or I can't remember what that other thing is. They had Italian. It's like a flat omelet with vegetables in it. It's like an omelet pizza. I can't remember what that's called. Anyway, I used to make them all the time, but now I can't remember the name. It'll come to me later. This is the stability of the physical environment. This is the stability of your health and your wealth. This is safety and security. Okay, and the obstacle or the fear here is that we are rocking the boat, that we are disrupting what has been a kind of just a routine, stable life. It wasn't one that we were probably all that happy about. Again, there's no water energy here. So I feel like we haven't really been thrilled with life, but it's been familiar, it's been stable. Okay? The Tower is, by its very definition, instability. Instability is happening. We have to realize that the Tower is happening for your best interest. It is happening with you and for you. It's not happening to you. It's happening with you and for you. What we want is stability. What we want is to, it's kind of it's solve and coagula, right? We're tearing things apart, we're bringing things down so that we can construct them in a way that is closer to our divine nature, closer to our destiny. Okay, we have to go through the disruption of the fives if we're going to get to the four, but on a higher plane. Well, maybe a six, right? Maybe the mystery card's going to be that Six of Pentacles. Or the Universe card, or maybe the Empress, Princess of Pentacles, or the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so things are going to be a little bit disrupted before they stabilize again. Okay, so it's kind of like when you have to tell somebody the way it is, when you've got to make these decisions that are good for you. It's going to maybe upset other people. It's going to rock the boat. It's going to destabilize things. But the alternative is for you to just not do it, you know? So by your choices, if you are disrupting life a little bit, again, it's not our intention. We're trying to be mindful of the other boats on the river, but I've got to start steering my boat. And I'm sorry if my boat is making some little waves. There's no way to avoid that except by not doing anything. The only way to please everybody is to, there is no way, right? But we think, well, the only way to avoid the calamity is to not be sailing on the river. The only way to avoid the obstacles and the disruptions of life is not to be a part of life. And that's not the name of the game here, okay? You're moving toward your best and truest self, this Libra energy. And this Libra energy is confident and strong and making good decisions, has this higher wisdom and discernment. You are in partnership with your true self. You are coming into a balanced alignment with your true self. The ego and the higher, truer self, the spiritual self, are in partnership, in harmony, making decisions together, right? The ego is the pilot and the true self is the commander, like the captain of the ship, You're the one that's holding the wheel, but Spirit's giving you the orders. Spirit's holding you, right? So I think that this really is your best self, and the way that you're able to make decisions based on what is truth for you, what is destiny for you based on your own Gnostic dialogue. And your life's taking that kind of new direction. It is a spiritual awakening. I think you're having that spiritual awakening. It's either, to me, it feels like a true self, higher self interaction. It feels like you are becoming united with your true self in a kind of partnership that really, the sky's the limit here for you now. I want to look at the mystery card. We said it was maybe a lot of that earth energy, right? But it could be water too. It could be that we are realigning our lives for greater joy, greater satisfaction of a deep, deep level. Maybe Ace, 2, or 3 of Cups. Maybe the Empress. I'm thinking Ace of Cups, really. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Here we go. The 8 of Swords. Was not expecting this. This is, I think, the alternative. This is the other option you got, right? You could go through this doorway and do everything we talked about, or you can just stay here. Or you can be completely tied up, held captive in your own life, not having any ability to steer the boat. And sometimes mentally, I think this is like that mental manipulation or that gaslighting from someone, trying to convince you that you're not in control of your life, trying to convince you that you're powerless to make changes. This is maybe our own mind telling us that we're helpless and hopeless and powerless, that we couldn't steer the boat even if we wanted to, that life doesn't happen with us or for us, it just happens to us. This is a mental prison, okay? This is somehow getting tangled up in this false belief that we have no power, that we have no choice, that we have no ability and no hope. and that we cannot help ourselves, that we cannot do anything, that we are not conscious beings. We're just robots, computer programs that are running from our past, our history, our unconscious, our generational stuff. This is a false prison. It does not exist except in our mind. And sometimes those are the strongest prisons, right? So this is a tower moment of revelation that's going to break these chains and free you. And I believe that very strongly. This has got to be one of the best readings. I'm going to post it. I kind of had my doubt, but no, this needs to be out there. Yeah. Now we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do some oracle cards. We'll do an Jing reading. New readings for Libra on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.